Hey everybody, welcome back. So, a few months ago, I did a video on net goth elitist bullies. These are goths whose presence exists solely online by choice, and for lack of a better way to put it, through social media, they will seek out other goths and ridicule them by telling them that they are not a real goth. In addition to that, they relentlessly try to bully them out of the gothic scene. They will literally insult, intimidate, and humiliate them out of the subculture. Why? Well, I've heard many a tale about these ass cancers to the subculture, but I had never actually experienced it myself until the very day that I posted a video naming, shaming, and addressing the issue. Obviously, hearing about it pissed me off to no end, but then having experienced it myself, the whole concept and then the repercussions became very real. So the person who happened upon me in the very first video that I made regarding this really had no idea how involved within the subculture that I really was, because firstly, I look a little bit younger than I actually am, and my style is the more overlooked 90s goth style, which tends to be very subdued. I don't subscribe to the whole modern idea of compartmentalizing goth into these separate categories. I'm just your standard, typical, no-frills goth. But I digress. I made a video designed to evoke nostalgia, and it was a video featuring all of the dances that I remember seeing in the goth clubs throughout the years. And I had gotten so many responses that it made me absolutely giddy, because I had people from places such as Germany and Portugal and the UK and France and even a ton of places in my own country, picking each individual dance and saying, hey, I was the one-handed two-stepper, or I was a cross between erotic and the performer. But nonetheless, these are people all verifying that these are all dances they'd seen in their own native lands, wherever that may be. And it was just, to me, it was an incredibly unifying experience. I guess I'm sentimental like that. So I make it a point to read all my comments and try to respond to as many as I can. And a few days ago, I received this comment on my video. Hate to tell you, none of the dances you show on this vid had not one thing to do with goth, and I've been a goth for a very long time and a dancer ready up on the goth style again, and please make a new vid after you get the right info. You make real goths like myself look bad. Try again. You hate to tell me? Because I must say, you do sound pretty damn pleased with yourself. But I suppose somebody has to be pleased with you, don't they? None of the things in this video had not one thing to do with goth. Other than the goth in the video, the meticulously chosen goth soundtrack to represent each of the gothic dances that were taken from New York City goth clubs throughout the early 90s to mid-2000s. I suppose the beige carpeting could be a bit off-putting. I've been a goth for a very long time and a dancer, so please ready up on the goth style and please make a new vid once you have the right info. Oh, have you now? So in this very long time, have you managed to make it to a goth club or any kind of show? Because I'm curious as to what the fuck you've been seeing, because I have to be honest, I think that either somebody's been playing a joke on you for a very long time, or you're talking out of your ass. So you want me to ready up on the goth style and post a new video? I'll do that. Once you post one. Come on, Swayze, school me. So I subscribe to the same philosophy as many of you do. Once I get one of these douchebag comments, I generally just delete, block, and go about my day without a second thought. But sometimes I bite back, and when I encounter this particular brand of goth that I like to call the Goth Gestapo or the Gothic Border Patrol, they're a threat to the scene due to the damage that they cause. So when I do encounter them, sometimes my fingers just have a mind of their own. That being said, I did respond, but I did so by way of sending her a link to my Goth Elitist Trolls video, the original one that I did, and spoke about at the beginning of this video. Since Douche Lord of the Dance pretty much personified the very person that I was depicting in the video anyway. However, I don't think she watched the video so much as read the title, because she sparked back with this gem. Netgoth tries to bully. Lol, I'm an elder, sweetheart. No one was being a bully. I was stating truth, and yes, the other vid shows your age. You want to be a true goth. Don't bully. Learn the facts. Teach what's real and what's fake. Be true to you and everyone else. And don't be a wannabe. True goth. Learn it. If you don't want to be another fake, live and love life. Yeah, an elder berry, maybe. You see, it's all about ego with these people. They just want you to kiss their ring and concede. But if you push back, that's where things get interesting. You see, they will just basically disappear up their own ass, and it is amusing as hell to watch. And as for the aforementioned pushback, true goth, Allow me to educate you about what a true goth is, as you clearly missed the memo. Goth is about individuality, inclusion, and acceptance. True goths don't run around the internet playing gothic border patrol, making snide remarks to other goths, arrogantly using themselves as a benchmark. Such childish games are reserved for elitist trolls. You are not a goth. You're a joke. I'm not here to play gothier than that with you. You're a dancer? Here's a move. It's called Go Chase Yourself. So once you do push back, it will either elicit two responses. They will either lose their shit completely, or they will amp up their goth to an extreme that you have never seen. A turbo goth. And our elitist chose turbo goth. In her incoherent run-on sentence / last-ditch effort to establish herself as a real goth and me just a lowly girl with black hair, she craps out this beauty. Okay, here we go. Deep breath. I promised it phonetically. Your reply to me just shows you're wannabe, not a true goth. For one, we don't badmouth our elders. Two, we respect people as we live and love life and others. Yes, we are our own person, not like other people, but not wanting to learn something real and true about what you call yourself goth. And true worth of the person also shows me you are and will never be a true goth. You will also be a wannabe, and you are disrespectful, low. Remember, because you wear black, don't make you a goth. Sounds like she's feeling kind of heinous because there's something in her aim. You see the pattern here? I swear, there must be like a template out there on Tumblr or something like that, because their tactics are nearly identical. David Attenborough needs to observe and document, because there's clearly something to be learned from these lobotomized gibbons. To the young and impressionable, or low-key and non-confrontational, this sort of thing is enough to permeate and really make a lasting impression. These bullies, they act as a blockade, preventing newcomers from coming in and exploring the subculture. So going on that thought, I decided to see if she was doing this to anyone else. So I checked her Google Plus profile, and I didn't find any evidence of that. However, I did find that she obsessively comments on Graveyard Girl's channel. And it's basically hounding her for information on how to become a successful YouTuber. And amongst that, I stumbled upon this. So her comment to Graveyard Girl less than a year ago says, again, this is fun. I don't have friends, so I love watching you. No friends? Well, color me shocked. Have you ever seen Beetlejuice? There's a scene at the end where Beetlejuice does his finger gun thing at Otho, and his sleek black and red suit splits down the middle to reveal that underneath he's wearing a polyester powder blue 1970s leisure suit. And then he runs for the door. I imagine that this was much like that. So I kept my response short and sweet. I told her that I was going to allow her to stew on her previous remark, and instead sent her a link to the aforementioned comment that she'd left on Graveyard Girl's channel, in an effort to possibly humble her and make her reevaluate the way that she treats people. After that, radio silence. And in addition to that, her Google Plus account is now set to private. So just remember the age-old adage, take it where it's coming from. A snake is a snake. It does not need to wear a name tag for you to know that it's a snake. In other words, if somebody feels the compulsion to aggressively point something out to you, i.e., I am a true goth, it's because they desperately need you to believe that. Now, if somebody feels the need to aggressively point this out to you while putting you down, i.e., you are not a true goth, it's because they don't believe it themselves. And they're basically using you to validate their own low self-opinion. Now, the goth scene has always had its elitists, in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, but they were vastly outnumbered by the majority, and they were never actually a deterrent. They're a different breed to the new incarnation. They supported their local goth shops. They made contributions to their venues by way of paying the cover charge and buying drinks, sometimes by the gallon. They supported the bands by way of attending their gigs and buying their CDs. They were just pretentious snotbags. So what do people like Salmonella Lugosi have to contribute? For some people, an online existence is not a choice. So for the people who didn't make that choice, they may very well be the only goth in the village. There's virtually nothing going on around them, no shows that come to their area. But to those with negative intentions, they've made the choice to exist in this facet because it benefits them. When your entire social existence is online, you can Photoshop your life. And when no one knows you offline, who are they to doubt you? I mean, perfect example, take a look at this girl. Respect my true goth elder authoritar. When in actuality, she's sniffing the butts of big YouTubers and professing a lowly goth existence with no friends. To those of you who've had encounters like this, or may even have them in the future, do not take it to heart. Just remember, this is what's on the other end. Now, the reason I take something so seemingly trivial and banal seriously is because the Gothic subculture has been my home for more than half my life. It is responsible for some of the best times, best memories that I've ever had. There was just such magic and euphoria surrounding the Gothic subculture. When we all got together, here we were looking like children of the night, basking in a soundtrack that evoked the most creative parts of ourselves. It's just something worthy of a daydream. I've gotten to meet some unbelievable people. I got to share in the experience of some epic shows, danced until dawn, and then all went out for pancakes afterward. Do you think you can pack experiences like that into digital format? These net goth troll elitist bastards, they don't have anything to lose. They don't live in an existence where their habitat is threatened. I mean, their whole social structure is ruled by shallow instant gratification that can be achieved by just the simple click of a mouse. There's no empathy, there's no accountability. It is amazing how harshly someone can treat another when they don't have to look you in the eye. It really puts a lot more weight on the phrase, "Come here and say that to my face." It's people like us who stand to lose, people who have either lived it or desperately wish that we could. Because we live in the age of the internet, and when you have people showing genuine interest within the subculture, new blood, the very thing that keeps it alive, they stand to be instantly put off because of people like Drusilla McDarkfarts pulling shit like this and basically handing them their walking papers. Bravo! Your existence is validated for 5 minutes. But to a subculture you claim to represent, the damage is irreparable. You talk about being a true goth, but how's about you shut the fuck up and do something productive? I mean, seeing as you have nothing positive to contribute, why don't you go and make some jello, go fly a kite, pimp slap a hornet's nest? A positive way to combat these people is to start an anti-bullying group. Arrange meetups, swap stories, but do not buy into these elitist bullshit. They are not the goth scene. They're damaged cells, parasites even. They cannot self-sustain. They need a host. Deny them the very thing that they need and eventually they'll die. It's as easy as clicking block or just turning off the computer. Like this.